walk away. You turn me on like a light switch when you're moving your body around and around. Now I don't wanna fight this. You know how to just make me want you. Turn me on like a light switch when you're moving your body around and around. You got me in a tight grip. You know how to just make me want you.
Today we will be talking about the geometrical shape, type of geometric shape, and formula of geometric shape. First, about the geometrical shape. Recognizing about geometrical shape. In mathematics, geometric shapes are the figures which demonstrate the shape of the objects we see in our everyday life. In geometry, shapes are the forms of objects which have boundary lines, angles, and surfaces. There are different types of 2D shapes and 3D shapes. Shapes are also classified with respect to their regularity or uniformity. A regular shape is usually symmetrical, such as square, circle, edge. Irregular shapes are asymmetrical. They are also called freeform shapes or organic shapes. Organic shapes. For example, the shape of a tree is irregular or organic. In plane geometry, the two-dimensional shapes are flat shapes and closed figures such as circle, square, rectangle, rhombus, edge. In solid geometry, the three-dimensional shapes are cube, cuboid, cone, sphere, and cylinder. We can observe all these shapes in our daily existence also. For example, books, cuboid shape, glasses, cylindrical shape, traffic cones, conical shape, and so on. In this article, you will learn different geometric shapes and their definition along with the examples. Definition: geometrical shapes are the figures which represent the forms of different objects. Some figures are two-dimensional, whereas some are three-dimensional shapes. The two-dimensional figures lie on only x-axis and y-axis, but 3D shapes lie in x, y, and z-axis. The z-axis shows the height of the object. As we have already discussed in the introduction, there are different shapes defined in geometry. List of geometric shape. Here is the list of different geometric shapes that we learn in geometry. Two-dimensional shapes: triangle, circle, square, rectangle, parallelogram, rhombus, trapezium, polygons, pentagon, hexagon, octagon, nonagon, decagon, edge. And these are three-dimensional shapes, which is sphere, cube, rectangular, prism, and cone.
Tips and properties of geometry shape. Triangle. Triangle is a polygon which is made of their side and consists of their edges and their vertices. Also, the sum of its internal angle equals to 180 O. Circle. Locus of a point at a fixed distance from a reference central point is called a circle. Square. Square is a quadrilateral where all the four sides and angle are equal and the angle at all the vertex equal to 90 degrees each. Rectangle. A quadrilateral which has its two pairs of opposite sides equal in length and interior angle are at the right angles. Parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral with two pairs of parallel sides and opposite angles are equal in measure. Polygon. These are made up of plane segment and no corpus. They are enclosed structure based on different lengths of sides and different angles.
A rhombus. A rhombus is close two-dimensional plane figure. It is considered a special parallelogram and because of its unique property, it gets an individual identity as a quadrilateral. And trapezium. As for the Euclidean geometry, a quadrilateral that has one pair of parallel opposite side is known as a trapezium. The word trapezium originated from the Greek word trapeza, which means table. Cube. A cube is a solid three-dimensional figure which has 6 square faces, 8 vertices, and 12 edges. It is also said to be a regular hexahedron. Rectangular prism. A rectangular prism is a polyhedron with two congruent, and parallel base. It is also called a cuboid. A rectangular prism has 6 faces, and all the faces are the rectangle shape and have 12 edges. Because of its cross section along the length, it is said to be a prism. Sphere. A sphere is a three-dimensional object that is round in shape. The sphere is divided in three axes: a x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. This is the main difference between circle and sphere. A sphere does not have any edge or vertices like other 3D shapes. Cone. A cone is three-dimensional shape in geometry that narrows smoothly from a flat base, usually circular base, to a point which forms an axis to the center of base, called the apex or vertex. We can also define the cone as a pyramid, which has a circular cross-section. Unlike pyramid, with a triangular cross-section, these cones are also state a circular cone. Formula of a geometry shape. The first one, we have a surface area and volume of sphere. A three-dimensional circle is known as a sphere. In order to calculate either the surface area of the volume of a sphere, you need to know the radius. The radius is the distance from the center of the sphere to the edge, and it is always the same, no matter which point on the sphere edge to measure from. Once you have the radius, the formula are rather simple to remember. Just as with the circumference of the circle, you will need to use pi. Generally, you can round this infinite number to 3.14. The accepted fraction is 22/7. The formula surface area is 4 pi r2 square. For the volume is 4/3 phi r3 square.
To surface area and volume of a cone. A cone is a pyramid with a regular basis that has sloping sides which meet at center point. In order to calculate its surface area or volume, you must know the radius of the base and the length of the side. If you do not yet, you can find the side length using the radius. Cone surface, we will need to calculate the surface area of the cone, and the base area of the core is r and the cone height. With that, you can find the total surface area, which is the sum of the area of the base and area of the side. The formula. See surface area and volume a regular prism area in their dimension become a regular prism area of the base area of base. Total surface area. To find the volume of the surface, you need the radius, the height, volume, satu per tiga RC. Area recurrent prism surface area or a book. When all sides and of equal dimension, it becomes a cube. Either way, finding the surface area and the volume require the same formula for the you will need to know the height and the width with all there will be the same surface area. Volume for surface area and volume of the cup. A cup is a regular solid with whose length, width, and height are equal. See volume and surface area of cup by substituting for like width and height into the formulas for volume and surface area of a ring and solid. We get formulas. Volume and surface area are n s 6 s smaller.
5. Area and perimeter of a triangle. The triangle is one of the simple shapes, and calculating the perimeter of these three side form is rather easy. You will need to know the length of all three sides A, B, C to measure the full perimeter. To find of the triangle's area, you will need only the length of the base and the height, which is measured from the base to the peak of the triangle. This formula works for any triangle, no matter if the sides are equal or not. Area and circumference of a circle. Similar to a sphere, you will need to know the radius of a circle to find out its diameter and circumference. Keep in mind that a circle is an ellipse that has an equal distance from the center point to every side. The radius, so it does not matter where on the edge you measure to. These two measurements are used in a formula to calculate the circle's area. It's also important to remember that the ratio between a circle circumference and its diameter is equal to pi. 7. Area and perimeter of square. The square is even easier than the rectangle because it is a rectangle with 4 equal sides. That means you only need to know the length of one side in order to find its perimeter and area.
8. Area and perimeter of hexagon. A six-sided polygon with equal sides is a regular hexagon. The length of each side is equal to the radius, while it may seem like a complete same. Calculating the perimeter is a simple method of multiplying the radius by the six sides. Perimeter is 6 radius. Figuring out the area of hexagon is a little more difficult, and you will have to memorize this formula. Area is 3 square root 3 square root 2 radius cubed. 9. Area and perimeter of a trapezium. The trapezoid is a quadrangle that can look like a challenge, but it's actually quite easy. For this shape, only sides are parallel to one another. Hold, all four sides can be of different lengths. This means that you will need to know the length of each side, A, B1, B2, C. To find the area of trapezoid, you will also need the height. This is the distance between the two parallel sides. Area is 1 division 2 B1 added to B2 multiplication height. 10. Area and perimeter of parallelogram. The parallelogram has two sheets of opposite sides that run parallel to one another. The shape is a quadrant, so it has 4 sides, 2 sides of one and 2 sides of another length. To find out the perimeter of any parallelogram, use the simple formula. Perimeter is 2A added to 2B. When you find the area of parallelogram, you will need the height. This is the distance between two parallel sides. The base is also required, and this is the length of one of the sides. Area is B multiplication height. Keep in mind that the B in the area formula is not the same as the B in the perimeter formula. You can use any of the sides which were paired as A and B when calculating perimeter. Told most often we use a side that is perpendicular to the height. Since the perimeter is equal to sum of all the sides of the polygon, hence in the case of the rectangle, the perimeter of the rectangle, the perimeter P is sum of all its 4 sides. P P is 8 added to B added to A added to B. Opposite side of rectangle are equal. P is to A added to B, hence derived. Therefore, perimeter of a rectangle is to length added to width square units. Area of a rectangle is length multiplication width is A multiplication B.